Prime Minister Keir Starmer's ratings have dropped to their lowest level yet.
He's down by about 30 points since coming into power. I mean, this guy is quickly becoming one of the most unpopular prime ministers that we've had in a long time.
Just a few months after Keir Starmer led the Labour Party to a historic election victory, things are already starting to fall apart. A new poll shows that his approval rating has dropped by a huge 16 points. The country is facing growing unrest, and violence is spreading, sparked by false information spreading rapidly online. Tensions have escalated following the tragic murder of 3 young girls in Southport. In the aftermath of that heartbreaking event, far-right groups have started causing chaos. They're targeting police officers, places of worship, and local businesses. The UK is beginning to feel like it's on the edge, with communities feeling increasingly unsafe and divided. What once felt like a fresh start for the country is quickly turning into a crisis. People who once strongly supported Starmer and the Labour Party are starting to turn their backs on him. His popularity among Labour voters has dropped by 8 points, now sitting at 79%. That might still seem high, but the fact that support is falling so quickly is a big warning sign. At the same time, the number of people who now see him in a negative light has risen to 15%, up by 5 points. The message is clear: more and more people are losing confidence in his leadership. The cracks within his own party are starting to show, and the loyalty that helped carry him to power is beginning to fade. Starmer's leadership is no longer seen as strong or steady. It's looking shaky and uncertain. Many are asking, can he turn things around before it's too late? This growing sense of dissatisfaction isn't just coming from the public, it's happening within his own ranks. Party members, supporters, and voters are becoming frustrated with the way things are being handled. The riots, the rise in violent incidents, and the spread of harmful lies on social media have all played a role in shifting public opinion. People expected stability, leadership, and action, but instead, many feel like the country is spinning out of control. Now, the big question is whether Starmer can survive this crisis. Will he be able to hold his party together, calm the unrest, and win back public trust? Or will this sudden drop in support mark the beginning of the end for his time as Prime Minister? The coming weeks and months will be critical. The decisions he makes now could decide not just the future of his leadership, but also the direction the country takes. This is more than just politics. It's about whether the government can restore peace, protect communities, and give people hope again. Keep watching closely, because what's happening in the UK right now could lead to some major changes. And if things continue the way they're going, we could be witnessing one of the fastest falls from political grace in recent history. Let me know if you want it styled differently or shortened/longer.
I was very disappointed with Keir Starmer's speech, as I think a lot of people were. We should also just note, this isn't my opinion. In the leadership ratings in all of our national polls, he's down by about 30 points since coming into power. I mean, this guy is quickly becoming one of the most unpopular prime ministers that we've had in a long time. In fact, as I'm talking to you, only a couple of hours ago, we had a new poll out this evening showing that compared to when Labour won the election at the beginning of July, Keir Starmer's ratings are down 36 points. So people really haven't warmed to him at all. He's now minus 13, which I guess if you don't know what that means, he's not too far off what we'd call Prince Harry territory. Point. There you are.
Love it.
What was remarkable about the speech this week, is he kind of doubled down on what we saw during those riots and protests over immigration. He just basically said half the country is far right and they're Nazis, and I'm not interested in acknowledging what they're concerned about. I'm not going to talk about the small boats, which again have now passed 20,000 illegal migrant crossings this year alone. That's up 3% on last year. He didn't talk about net migration. He didn't talk about criminality. And here we are with the Notting Hill Carnival, celebrated by Labour politicians because it's a symbol of diversity. Mm-hmm. We've got 2 people dead in the streets, 2 people who have died because of stabbings at that event, physical assaults. It's a controversial point, maybe, but more people died at the Notting Hill Carnival, apparently celebrating diversity, than died during the immigration protests. Nobody, to my knowledge, actually died during those protests. So again, this notion of two-tier Britain, this notion of different groups and different events being treated differently according to the politics is really now ringing loudly across the country.
Only 20% of people actually voted for him, and his rating has really dropped. He has the opportunity, after 14 years of really messed up, incompetent, unlistening Tory conservative rule, Keir Starmer and Labour have the opportunity to be real heroes. They could fix all of the many things that are wrong with this country very quickly, some of them in an afternoon, and yet they are proceeding in totally the opposite direction and alienating huge swathes of the British public. I think that starting out where it hurts the most, pocketbooks, he made a big thing of not raising taxes. And he did mention several particular taxes that he won't raise, but he and Rachel Reeves, his money person, his Chancellor of the Exchequer, the first ever woman Chancellor, do seem intent on raising taxes in areas that they didn't mention. So they will increase inheritance tax, they will increase capital gains tax and hit entrepreneurs. They will, there's some word being mooted, charge so many pence per mile to drive your car in Britain now, which is really going to be incredibly unpopular. And he said that he will not raise the national insurance. In other words, when you get your paycheck, there is a deduction by the government on you and a charge to your employer. So he's not going to touch the employee charge, but he is going to increase the charge to employers, which simply gets passed on. So I think the tax and the money aspect is the first area where he's lost a lot of credibility. The other is freedom of speech. I mean, he's actually emptying prisons of thousands and thousands of pretty serious criminals and filling up their cells with hundreds of people who have posted critical comments on social media. Now, most of them do seem to be very inappropriate things that incited riots and were, hate crimes in themselves. But he does seem to be, many say, clamping down on freedom of speech. And a lot of people are saying it's 1984 here.